guys, we're very pleased right now to be talking to a great Florida Gator, one of the all-time greats in the National Football League and NFL Hall of Famer, Jack Youngblood. Jack, thanks for spending some time with us on Talking Old School.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
First of all, we're here at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame banquet. Can you tell us a little bit about the Florida Sports Hall of Fame and what it means to be a member of it and to you?
Well, to be in any Hall of Fame is a true honor, especially when you're just an old football player and they remember you from the glory days back in the '60s. To be among the athletes that are in the Florida Hall of Fame. It's a true honor.
Now, of course, going from the Florida Hall of Fame, you're in the National Football League Hall of Fame. Can you tell us about just what it means what I'd like to ask you about that is, as I've heard you speak before, you went from a skinny high school football player at a small high school in North Florida, and your career took you to being a member of the National Football League Hall of Fame. What qualities did you possess that allowed you to take that journey?
You know, I don't think we have enough tape to tell that whole story, because it starts out in Monticello, Florida, and winds up in Los Angeles, and then finally in Canton after 14 years in the National Football League and waiting for 12 years to be inducted. It was on the final list for 10 of those 12 years. I thought I was a Susan Lucci of the National Football League. I mean, I was nominated and never elected. So, but you can't describe, a player like myself can't describe what it's like to be honored and to be recognized as one of the elite. I think I was 216 and have been elected over the entire history of the Hall of Fame. And when you stop and think about it like that and really put a perspective around it, it's rather awesome. It really is.
Now, I'd like to ask you, of course, one of the things you're probably most known for is playing in a Super Bowl. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Rams on a broken leg, and I got two questions in one, basically. First of all, why would you choose to play with that kind of an injury? Secondly, how did you play with that kind of injury?
Well, first of all, you got to remember when you're young and stupid, you do stupid things. So, not really. But there wasn't a choice, in my opinion. I had the opportunity. Our goals for all of those years. That was my 9th year in the league. Our goal was to get to the Super Bowl. We've been shut out 4 different times. I've been in 4 different NFC Championship games. Dallas or Minnesota knocked us out 4 times. We finally got the opportunity. If I'm breathing, I'm going to be on that field. I want to be a part of that. That was the nature of that's what drove us to play. We wanted to go and perform and be a part of that team, try to contribute, try to be. I was one of the leaders, the captain of the football team. You know, I wasn't going to miss it if there was anything left in me. If there was an ounce of energy, an ounce of will, I was going to go play.
You get that far, you didn't have a choice, in other words.
No, there wasn't a choice.
Jack, as a kid growing up in Florida, my all-time great Gator team was the 1969 Florida Gators. You were a part of that game, and any of those of us who were fortunate enough to see those guys play and to remember those guys as a team know that there was just a special magical quality about the 1969 Gators. Can you share what was it that made that group of guys so special?
Well, I think what made us real special was those super soft. They came onto the stage and performed all year long. We were pretty special. And I think that creating that kind of excitement around the football team, we've been ordinary for so many years. We hadn't really addressed the championship, the SEC championship. That was before the 2 divisions, and we'd been 2nd and 3rd, several times. So when there was finally something there, for people to grab a hold to and have hope for. I think that really started the movement of developing the entire program into something that's real special.
Undergirded with a great group of
right.
veteran
and
senior leadership,
and that's what you have
like
to do. You've got to have players so that you can continue that on a yearly basis.
Now, back to '69, of course, the last game that the '69 Gators ever played in, one of the things that makes that season so special was a huge upset over Tennessee in the Gator Bowl, 14-13.
Mm-hmm.
And you were a key part of that game, a key part of the victory, your outstanding play at defensive end. Can you share your memories of the '69 Gator Bowl 14-13 win over Tennessee?
One of the things that I can remember was grabbing the quarterback, Bobby. Help me with
Bobby Scott.
Bobby Scott. Grabbing Bobby Scott. Came around the corner, grabbed him, just reached out and grabbed him in the middle of his chest, and grabbed that jersey. And all I got was the number. All I did was knock him backwards and rip that jersey off of him. And I'm standing there going, oh my goodness, how did I miss that? They had those tearaway jerseys that eventually became outlawed in NC2A, but you can remember those kind of plays. It was, that was our first bowl game. I mean, that was something to be really proud of.
Jack, appreciate you spending some time with us on Talking Old School. I got one more question before you go. Now, I saw you speak at a Chamber of Commerce some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we've heard from Barry Smith and Ron Sellers and the other Knowles about the great coaching staff the Knowles had back in the day. And
right.
one of those guys was a guy named Bill Parcells. And he actually was assigned to recruit you coming out of Monticello High School. Can you tell us about his evaluation of the young Jack Youngblood?
Bill was very instrumental in the success of Jack Youngblood. From a negative standpoint. And I mean, that's a long story too, but Bill came over and looked at the little Monticello football team. We won the championship that year, and he went back and he told Coach Brent Hall, he said, I can't play. And he went back and told Coach Peterson. He said, yeah, the quarterback can play, the tight end can play. There's an offensive guard, there's a running back, and Coach Peterson asked, well, what about the big tall kid with the big ears? And he said, that kid can never play. He'll never play college football. The day we won the championship, the night we won the championship, Coach Dave Fuller, the baseball coach for the University of Florida, grabbed me by the arm after we won the championship and said, son, how would you like to play football for the University of Florida? I said, let me think about it. Yes, sir. It took me that long.
So the Gators had Bill Parcells partially.
Bill Parcells
was Jack, it's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Talking Old School. Absolutely.
My pleasure. Good stuff.